And while cases are decreasing in Italy, they're increasing again in U.S. prisons. One of our lead stories tonight, the prison system is still struggling during this pandemic. At least 304 prisoners have died because of coronavirus, and deaths are rising at a rapid rate. According to the Marshall Project, they increased 39% in just 1 week. Prisons are a breeding ground for the virus, spreading among a population forced into close quarters. John Paitakes has more than 40 years of experience working in the criminal justice system. He's a former Assistant Chief Probation Officer at the Somerset County Probation Department in New Jersey and a criminal justice professor at Rider University. Joins us now to talk more about this topic. And John, the number of cases is just stunning. What's your reaction to how rampant the virus has spread in prisons?
Yeah, well, it's a difficult situation in the prisons. It's very hard to social distance them because of the environment, okay?
Right.
And the other issue is that they didn't have enough preparation for it to get masks, any other type of sanitizers, et cetera. So they're striving to, catch up. And depending on the state and the location, the Northeast obviously has a much more, difficult problem because of the number of people in prison.
Right. Now, some prison systems have taken an unusual step. They're trying to stop the spread here in New York and in Los Angeles. Thousands of prisoners have been released. Do you think that's the answer?
Well, yeah, if you do it very carefully. Now, what they're looking at usually is those with some type of medical problems, senior citizens over the age of 60 years old, notwithstanding the fact that it can't be any violent crime, any murder, any very aggressive type crime. And if they're on the shorter end of their sentence, then they'll be considered for release. They're usually placed on home detention with electronic monitoring. It's one of the things that they're really trying to do now on a very careful basis.
It's a big issue for the Catholic Church. The Pope has long advocated for people imprisoned. Are secular governments doing enough to keep them safe? Should they have done something sooner?
Well, nobody ever knew that it was going to come to this extent, So should they have done something sooner? Well, yes, they should have, if we know, but now we have to play catch up. And there are some things that can be done to catch up with that. Now, the National Guard and Army Reserve have been called out for some of the aftercare facilities and nursing homes or whatever. So perhaps, we can utilize more of the National Guard, Army Reserve. They have social workers, they have psychologists, they have doctors and nurses, and, so it would be a matter of activating them for additional help in the prison. The other thing they can do is, and some prisons are doing this, utilize some of the staff to help make masks, to help with making sanitizing, to go around and do some of the sanitizing.
Right. Now, there's something else happening in the prisons. LA County released video showing inmates who tried to get the virus so they can get released. Do you think prison system officials are educating inmates about how serious the pandemic is? It's not just a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, I mean, now that's certainly not the right approach, whatever. But are they educating them enough? Well, it depends on the prison system. Each state operates their own prison or whatever. Some are more ahead of the ballpark by educating them. Some are in the process of doing it. Okay. So, there still needs to be done. And again, a lot depends on the geographic location of where we're talking about. It's a much different system in South Dakota, in Montana versus New York, New Jersey, so, but certainly that should be an ongoing process even right now, because you got that population and they're very uneasy about that,
Right. People talk about a new normal once this pandemic is over. Do you think the criminal justice system will change at all?
Well, it's making a lot of changes in the last 10 years or whatever. And now the emphasis is on more rehabilitation and prison reentry programs to have, them better prepared once they are released. So I think you'll find the numbers have been decreasing nationally in the last several years. Mm-hmm. And so we are implementing and reducing some of the sentences and some of the mandatory sentences especially. So I think we're on a good trend at this point,
All right, some good insight from a former. I'm sorry?
Once we get past the pandemic.
Right, we have to get past that. A good insight. Thanks so much to former Assistant Chief Probation Officer John Paitakes. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
If you're watching Currents News on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then click on the bell to get instant updates about all of our newest content, because we are putting your faith in the news.